Hi, today we're finding our secondary sources for our essay. So we need to begin with our online research library. Your interface may look a little bit different than this one, but once you get there, it all should look the same. So you're either on your desktop or through eClass, you're going to look for the online research library. Now, I don't want you using the plain old internet for your secondary sources. The sources we find through the online research library have been tested as being academically credible, and that's important. And also I have examples of how to cite these on your Works Cited, which is a large part of the grade. So let's click here, and it takes us to this. Now we need the databases, and that'll weed them out a little bit. Both the ones I want you to use start with an L. So let's scroll down until we get to these two, this one and this one. The Literary Reference Center and the Literature Resource Center. Let's begin with this one. I like this one the best. So let's click on there and eventually it should open. Slowly. Okay. Now, what we search for will determine what we find. Many of you will raise your hand and go, Miss Fowler, there's nothing, I can't find anything on this work, and I come over and you've misspelled whatever you're looking for. You have to be careful about that. And sometimes you have to put in a few different searches. You can't be helpless when you're doing research. That's what research is. It's searching and then researching, searching again. So let's start with Araby. Let's see if we can find anything on James Joyce's story, Araby. So we'll start by searching for the story's name. Now this story, there's been a whole lot written on, so it should be very easy to find sources. So let's click on this. Now you're not going to know if a source is useful to you until you open it and look at it. So please do not type something in, your list appears in front of you, and you raise your hand and go, Miss Fowler, which of these can I use? I don't know. I have not read them all. So you have to open it just like I did here and look through it. Now, all you need is a sentence or two sentences that you can put in your essay that will contribute to what you have been discussing in your essay. Here, do we have enough to use? I think we do. It tells us what we have here. Let's see if we can get to the full source. Okay, we can go to the PDF, and it gives us the whole article. It may take a moment to open. Okay, yes, there's plenty here. All we need is a sentence. So you're going to look through this, find a sentence that fits with what you're talking about. This right here would be great. Now, since I'm finding this, I don't want to see this in any of your essays. For Araby, preserves a central episode in Joyce's life, an episode he will endlessly recapture. There's tons of things that would fit with what you're talking about. This is a long, long essay. Now, are you going to read the whole thing? Probably not. You're going to skim through and find something that will work with your essay and what you're talking about. You can use a secondary source in the introduction of your essay, in the conclusion of your essay, or anywhere within the body of your essay. You want to spread them out, though. If I tell you you have to have 3 secondary sources, don't stick them all in the introduction. You shouldn't have more than 1 secondary source in any one paragraph. I want you to remember that. So we've decided, yes, there is something here I can use. I've found my quote. You can write down the quote, but always print the first page of the source, this page, because it has all the citation information you're going to need to do your citation. Now, in the big old packet with all the threats on the front, page 9 at the bottom, the Marlene Barr example is how all of these databases are cited on the Works Cited page. Now, here we have an author, Stone, Harry. That means his name is Harry Stone. When we alphabetize, we put the first name first, or the first name last, and the last name first. So his last name is Stone. This is the original source here. The database is the Literary Reference Center. And you'll see all the other information you need. So you're going to print this page. So always go to File, Print, and when this comes up, you're going to do selected pages. Now I only need page 1 here. So I'll put in page 1, and then it'll just print this page. Now this article could be 47 pages. You don't need to print all that. Don't need to kill all those trees. So only print the page that you need. So you're going to print this out, and then you're going to turn to page 9, look at the bottom in your packet, and you know how to cite it. Then you'll take the quote you found from the PDF, which you're going to open. You'll put it in your essay. You'll be sure to introduce it. Mr. Stone states, or a critic Stone states, or one author states, or use a better verb than states. There's a whole list of them in your packet. One critic suggests, and then you give your quote. You can look in the model essay in your packet to see how she introduces her quotes. But really, that's all there is to it. Now, as far as how many sources you have to have, but depending on your subject and your semester, between 3 and 4 different secondary sources for senior, between 2 and 3 for sophomore. So you're going to, if you're writing on just Araby, you would need 3 different sources. So you would have to go find another article on Araby. Here's another one. This gives you plenty that you can pull a quote out of. And the same thing, you're going to always print this page. Go to print, and again, selected pages, put in 1, you're good to go. Okay, I hope this helps you. If you don't like working with this database, you can always go all the way back and choose a different database. Now remember how we got to this database. Okay, so we scroll down until we get to, don't ever use EasyBib, by the way, for my class. It hasn't been completely converted to MLA, and some of the citations are wrong. It's just overly complicated. I really don't want you using that, so don't ever use that, even if in other classes you've been allowed to. Trust me on this. Okay, so we're scrolling down. You could try this one. The search is a little bit different. So you would, let's see, go back to our databases, scroll down till we get to what we're looking for. And the same thing. Let's try fair. This is one from first half. Let's see what we find. Okay, there's plenty here. There's something on the Wanderer. There's the Seafarer. I bet you can find things on the Wife's Lament. And again, you have to open it to see if it's useful to you. This one would be because it's an overview. Again, we're going to print this first page. Just so it has all of our citation information. Again, make sure you click here. Just print the first page. This should be plenty to get all your citation information and your quote. We go back to this. We find a sentence that works for us, that says something about the story. That would be very easy. You can also use a quote that talks about the type of literature in general, like Anglo-Saxon poetry. You could find a quote that talks about that. But just skim through this until you find a sentence that you like. And when I say quote, a quote is anything you take from here, not something that's already in quote marks. You're the one putting it in quote marks. Remember that. This would work just fine. That would be too much, but just a short quote. Yeah, see, that would be perfect. Put it in your essay, introduce it, then cite it from this. You have an author, you have your original source, you have all the information you need, so you would be good to go. So this is what I want you to do for your Works Cited. Now, as far as what it looks like in the essay and what it looks like on the Works Cited page, go to one of the other videos and look at essay format and Works Cited format, and you'll see how it all fits together. Happy citing!